Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So here today, this is going to be a follow-up. I'm just going to let you know what we are waiting on regarding that 6.72/7.02 exploit that was recently made public on the PS4 scene. So I'm going to let you know what the devs have been working on, a couple of issues that they ran into, or a couple of interesting things. And then we are going to cover some information very quickly regarding the firmwares themselves, the 672 recovery and the 672 regular update. And then we'll cover lastly some information regarding the games, because man, people keep asking a lot of information regarding the games, which ones are covered, which ones are not. Now I already did a detailed video, but I'm going to kind of gloss over that here. Plus I'm going to share with you a very comprehensive list that someone made that I actually thought would never exist, but someone took the time to make it. And then I'll ask you if you want me to maintain a list from the information that you give me, you the community. We're going to maybe make a list of the games along with their sizes, how much space they would take in your storage, wherever that may be. Someone kind of already started that in the comments, and I thought it was a really good idea. So we'll cover that in a little bit as well. As usual, don't forget to hit the like button when you do. It really goes a long way to keeping me motivated to keep bringing you all kinds of stuff on the channel, including things like this and tutorials and all that kind of good stuff. You guys have just been killing it since day one, but really this year you've taken it to a whole nother level, and I greatly appreciate it. Let's just keep it going. All right, let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, let's begin with the WebKit exploit. It is being worked on. One of the scene developers is working with this PS4 WebKit bat hoist 6.xx exploit that was done by developer Fire30. That developer is porting it over so that it works with 6.72. He did state that it requires some minor changes and some offset adjustments, but it is being worked on. Then of course we are waiting for, a jailbreak proper. So we're waiting for the hens to update and the payloads and things like that as well. Of course, when all of that is said and done, then we will have a tutorial. I'm sure Modded Warfare will have one as well, and some other people. So that's what we're waiting on, for all these things to be finished and to get finalized. And we know that they are working. Now, one thing I cannot stress enough, guys, and I know this doesn't apply to everybody, it's a small group of individuals, but please don't be an ETA when kid. I mean, I've seen it already in my comments, it's all over the forums. We don't know when. And this has been the case not just with PS4, but every hacking, modding, jailbreak scene from 3DS to Switch to PS3, Xbox 360. It's always been this way. It's gone back decades. With MAME even, we just don't know when these things will be finalized. That's how the hacking modding scene is, and it's always been that way. There is no ETA when. It happens when it happens, but trust that as soon as it does, you will know here, and I'm sure other people will advise you as well, like Modded Warfare and other individuals who are keeping close tabs on the scene and what's going on right now. All right, guys, so there's a couple of things that have surfaced that are interesting with some of these developers testing things out and whatnot. One of them is that apparently people forgot, because it's been so long, that they actually put an update block on their PS4. So what I'm showing you here is my own 505 exploit playground, which by the way, I had up and I was maintaining until things stopped happening over at GitHub. This is an older version. It's the first one I found just for the purposes of this video. Anyway, you can see right here, there's an update blocker. This prevents you from accidentally updating your PS4. So some people were panicking because they couldn't update to 6.72 or whatever, but they forgot they enabled this. So you will have to make sure you unenable it. So you need to run update unblocker and then reboot your system, and you'll be able to run the 6.72 update. Speaking of which, here, and again, I'll link this PSX page, or PSX hacks page. They do have the recovery pup, the proper one, the official one, as well as the regular update one. So here's the recovery one right there. It's almost 1 gig. And then the regular one is almost 450 megabytes, so it's about half the size, and there's that pup. When we get around to the tutorials, I'll let you know which one to use in which situation, but normally this is the one you would use when you're just updating from 5.05 to 6.72, unless you're doing a full restore of your PS4, and then you would use the recovery mode, but most people are just going to update, and this one should work. If things change in the tutorial or by the time they're done with all of this, then of course in that tutorial I will let you know. One of the other things is that apparently when you update to 6 point whatever from 5.05, it forces a database rebuild, and your 5.05 packages will vanish when you update. So you need to do a fake packages database rebuild. That I'm sure will be part of the tutorial, but basically before you update, while you're on 5.05, you'll need to back up the database, then update, and then once you're on 6.72, then you can restore the database. Now, when I say database, I don't mean you're backing up your whole collection of games or whatever. The games will remain in your PS4, you just won't be able to see them. So by doing that procedure, then you'll be able to see them again. This whole database rebuild thing also is very quick, so it's just some files that you are rebuilding. It's like the PS3, when you rebuild the database there, it only takes like a minute or two. It's very quick, and it's the same thing here. It's not going to take like 8 hours or something ridiculous like that, and you're not going to need some crazy amount of space. It's just some small files that need to be rebuilt within the system. But before we continue, let me just echo and repeat what these developers have all been saying. Don't update to 6.72 just yet. Don't put the cart ahead of the horse. Just wait until these things get done. They ironed out the bugs and whatever, or they run into issues like they did with the database and whatnot. Let's let them do all of that, and then we can go ahead and update. Just be patient. At least we know we have something that's out there. It's being worked on, and we'll see it at some point here soon. Alright, so now let's talk about games, and let's go through this as quickly as possible, because I already did a video regarding this. It's right here. It's the last video I did where I show you how to pretty much figure out whether a game is compatible with 6.72, whether it has a chance to be compatible, and whether it's definitely not compatible. So if we come here, and I'll put a link to this Reddit post, and you click on the Google Sheets link, it will bring you to this list. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due, because in my video, I said that a list like this would never, ever exist. And the reason why I said that is because I honestly didn't think that nobody on earth would have the time to do this, and that is go through every single PS4 release ever, put down the release date, and then the possible firmware that the game required, every game. And then they even separated here by tabs, so you can click on this one and it will show all the games released between 5.05 and 6.72, and then this tab here shows all the games released between 6.72 and 7.02, and the main tab just shows everything. It even has some ratings here from Metacritic, and that's where they got all this information from Metacritic. Metacritic does not show the firmware. They're kind of only guessing here, and that's what they state on this side in the gray area, but it does show the date the game was released. If you find this a little bit confusing or whatever, let me just summarize this video in a nutshell. Basically, if the game came out in 2019 or before, the game will be playable on 6.72. If the game came out this year in March or later, then the game will not be playable, which means that since everything in 2019 and before is playable and everything from March forward is not playable, the only 2 months in question are January and February. And in this video, I explain how I got to all of that information. It's pretty simple actually, and if you are looking at a game in January, there's a high probability that it still may work on 6.72, especially if it came out in the first half of January. In February, those chances go down dramatically, especially in the back half of February. So everything is explained and detailed in the video. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already, but that's the easiest way to figure everything out. 2019 and back, yes. March 2020 forward, no. January, February, maybe. All right, next, the games and their sizes. Now, this is something that someone here who by the name of Enwerem Franklin, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, in my video about finding out which games work on 672, he started posting up this list here that shows the names of the games that came out after 5.05 that would work with 6.72 and the size of these games. And for some people, this is extremely helpful, including me, especially if you happen to be someone who might start running a little bit low on storage space. This is incredibly valuable information. If you want to see this list maintained, it'll probably be something that can be maintained by you guys in the community, where you guys will, post the information and I will update the list, just like the video and or comment, because what I can do is just one video dedicated only to this, where you would go into the description, click on it, and then you'll see them in alphabetical order with the size like you do here. Or maybe I'll do something like this list, just showing the name, the release date, and the size. Or I can put the list up on my Discord and maintain it there, and you guys can just post up the information regarding the name of the game and the size there, and then I can put it on the list. So anyway, if you're interested in something like that, let me know by either liking or in the comments. If the video gets enough likes, then I'll know to go ahead and do it. But I do think it would be extremely helpful. And that is going to do it for this video, guys. I am still working on this week's hacking modding news and info. It'll get released at some point, probably Friday, maybe even Saturday, because this PS4 stuff has just pushed everything behind. But hey, I'm glad it's pushed everything behind, because it's finally good to see that we're getting an update here. Anyway, if you don't hear anything, it's only because, things are working behind the scenes, at least regarding the 6.72 exploit. But trust that as soon as something comes out, or as soon as we get any type of information and whatnot, I will go ahead and let you guys know. I'll put my Discord down in the description as well, in case you guys want to hit me up there, although my time is very, very limited, so I only spend a really small amount of time on there. But anyway, I appreciate you guys, and if you found anything here helpful, informative, useful, or just entertaining, or you just want to throw some love or appreciation to the channel, or you want to see that list with the sizes of the games, make sure you hit that like button, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, especially now during these times with all the stuff going on with the PS4 scene. Much love going out to everyone. Be careful, be safe, but have fun, and we will see you on the next one.